Take responsibility for yourself. Exercise your self-motivation and self-determination. Practice free enterprise in your holistic home office. Avoid selfish ambition, which is the dark side of human nature. Read all the stories at homeoffice.studio and watch all the videos to get an exceptionally advanced, entertaining education. Alright, so here we go again. We gotta try making a video. I made this morning and it didn't work out very good. I made a half an hour long video and this screen, I messed that up somehow, and so I gotta do everything all over again. So let's see how this one goes. It's gonna be a quick go through of KDE Linux. I was gonna do one kind of focusing in on some of the art tools that I use. One of them is called Digicam, and the other one is called Raw Therapy. I'm starting to work on developing a workflow using those two, because I got a camera. I've got thousands of pictures that I've taken with my little camera, and so I want to try to get that going. The simple screen recorder running on screen number 3. I'm gonna, and so I, like I said, I always try to get the panel set right. I got my 4 screens here, and the one where the first place you're going to start working on is your settings, system settings. And go through here and start it with your colors and your global theme and plasma style and all this, and explore around in here and look, and you can get each one of them is, you can bring in new sets, get new color schemes, and you can edit the color schemes that are in here. And looks like this is the one I've got in here now, I guess. I don't know why, or no, I guess it's this one right here. But like when you edit them, you don't change. You edit it and save it as a copy. You don't change the original. You keep the original, and then you save it as a copy, and you can get it 2 or 3 different versions of the same color scheme, things like that. On your workspace behavior, you can set up in here. The main thing I set here is my touch, no, not my touch screen. There's something I do in here. Oh, single click to open files and folders. I do that every time because I don't like having to click twice. And go back over here, the window management. Is that where title bar action, switch your KWin scripts, window roles. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of different things you can look at here. Start up and shut down. Well, this is where you can select your start, what your login screen looks like. The look and feel of this KDE that I have on here is kind of a combinations of a whole bunch of different, like custom schemes. I got this on here almost by accident. I got all this put together by accident. I worked a long time on it and spent a lot of time working on it and trying to get it to look really cool, and I like it. It's pretty cool. And your splash screen, this is what you start out, and you can select different ones, and you can get new splash screens just like everything. And then you go back and you get so there's a whole bunch of stuff you can set in here. Input devices are probably the most important one of the most important ones is to come over here into input devices, keyboard, advanced, configure keyboard options, cap lock behavior, click on that and go down here and swap the escape and caps lock key. That makes it just changes those two keys. And that comes in really handy, especially when you start using Vim. Another thing I always do with input devices is going to be the, mouse. It's not the mouse, is it? Oh, touchpad. Go into touchpad, and I always set mine to touchpad edges, because typically it's set on 2 fingers. You have to use 2 fingers to scroll. I always set that to touchpad edges. And the one other main setting I set is it's power management. I get into power management and I set this to dim the screen after 15 minutes and then switch the screen off after 60 minutes of inactivity. That way it's not constantly locking me out after a few minutes. And it works pretty good. And so that's just a few of the settings. I spend hours in here messing around setting this up the way I like it. And so you can switch around from here. The other way is use your function keys. Each window is it's control and then function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4. That's how you can move back and forth through the different pages. Probably the next thing I use is the Dolphin and Crusader setup. Now, I've used Dolphin the whole time I've been using KDE Linux until just a few months ago. I rediscovered Crusader and I'm trying it out. I want to see how it works. So far, it's working really good. I like it. It's got a lot more. All this stuff down here is not, Dolphin doesn't have that, or this. So it has a few more functions that Dolphin doesn't have, and I don't really know what they all do. I'm just, I haven't read the help directory on this one yet, and so I'll study it and learn some more about it. So far, it just works exactly like Dolphin. You can drag and drop files back and forth from these 2 panels, and that makes it a pretty good deal. Okay, that's why I like Dolphin, because you can just drag and drop files from one side to the other, making it pretty easy to manage your files. And then the next thing is Kate. Kate is my main writing tool. I do most of my writing in Kate. I try other tools every once in a while, but I always come back to Kate because it's so simple and easy. Just open Kate and start typing, and it works pretty good. And it's mainly a text editor, like a code editor for writing, C and Python and stuff like that. But I haven't been using it for that. But you can use it for that if you want to, So I use Kate and Crusader are my kind of graphical desktop tools. They're my screwdriver and pliers. They're my do everything tools when I first start. Then the next application I use is I use Console. I used Console until about 6 months ago. They came out with one called Alacrity that runs on the GPU instead of the CPU. And that makes it go a lot faster. And it was so much faster, it was very obviously noticeable the very first time I used it. I said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be using this now. Even though I really like Console just because of the whole KDE thing. And hopefully they'll switch that over to the graphical user interface. But then another one came out called Kitty. So you got Alacrity and then you got Kitty or Console are the 3 ones that I recommend. Probably Kitty is probably the best. That's the one I'm using now. And I can open that with a super key and K for Kitty. And that opens that up. And typically what I'll do is, now I can set this up with tmux in it, and there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. I wonder if this will work this time. No, it's not working. Oh, it's because I'm not in tmux yet. Tmux. Okay, there's tmux. No, it's not working. Darn it. Oh, okay, it is working. I wonder why it doesn't. I wonder why the one that goes straight up and down doesn't work. Let me see what happens if I go like this. Oh, I know why. What's going on? Okay, I know what I was doing wrong. I had to push shift to get that to work, because it's the I moved the thing to where it's the pipe symbol is how you do it. And so now I can run, you know, I can, let's click up here and do that. And then, you know, you got all these. And so I can go exit here and see what happens. No, that's not going to work. Anyway, you got all, you can set this up any way you want to. You know, what I typically do is I use Z shell over on this side and Vim over on this side, and I can search, and I use Vim. Let's go exit. Okay, and then okay, like this, and then and sometimes I'll split one of them. I'll probably split Z shell and put something else over there on that side. But this side, I can use, say, Vim dot Z shell RC. That's my Z shell RC panel. And one of the most important things about this, and I try to always tell you guys this, is this alias remove. What I'm doing here is I'm setting this up. This I means, what does that mean? It means that if you press remove anything, you know, try to remove anything, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to remove that? And that's a good thing. You know, same thing with remove, copy, or move. Because if you don't do that and you accidentally try to remove something, you could remove some, you know, you could just destroy your computer, you know, and you don't want to do that, you know. And I've done that before. I've accidentally typed remove, and instead of hitting the next letter in the command I was going to remove, I accidentally hit root, and you know, I hit the / which is root in Linux, and then enter, and oh my God, I about had a heart attack. I thought I was going to delete my whole entire system, and it was an act, you know, and it didn't happen because it asked me, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I said, "No, I don't want to do that." You know, because I wanted, you know, you type that root command in there, but then you usually type something after that, you know, after it to symbolize. Anyway. And then I do some of this to make it a little bit easier for the list. But these three right here are the main ones. This one here is just pure, you know, this is what I like to do. You know, you know, and another thing is I got this set up in Vim. So let's get out of here. The way I get out is I press colon. It should be colon, but I've got a shortcut set up to where I can just do semicolon, which puts me down on the command line down here. This is command line, you know, from normal. So in order to get to normal, you press escape. And that's why it's so important, because Vim is a modal. It works with modes. You have insert mode, which enables you to type things. And it has normal mode, which enables you to move around and move things and delete things and copy things, and you can do all kinds of things in normal mode. And then this is the command mode. And there's some other modes. I think there's 7 different modes, but these are the three most important ones. Visual is also another good one that you use quite a bit for moving things around, is visual selection. But then you just, in order to get out of here, you press Q and then enter, and now you're back out. And so, and then I was going to go vim.vimrc, which is the settings for Vim, and you spend a long time learning about, Vim plugins, and you get the good ones you like, or, and I don't even know what half of them do, but I just put them in there anyway because they sound cool, And I got my Vim working pretty good because I watched the videos and people recommend things and I put in good ones, and I think there may be some redundancy in there, but that's okay. So, and one of them is, one of the most important ones I like is Nerdtree. And the way I open that is I go function, and you have to press the actual function, and then F4, and that opens it. And this is a file manager. I can move around in here, and I can, select files. I can open files. If I open like this file right here, it's going to open it right there. And then I got it set up. Now I got to remember all my commands for moving back and forth. Let me see. I want to get out of that. So I would just cute. Okay, so that now, see, I'm not very graceful when it comes to using Vim. I like it and I use it every once in a while. I get into programming with it, and I've been experimenting with it, and I set it up, but I still don't know really what I'm doing, and I do things like this. This is one of the common things I do all the time is, dang it, that's not what I wanted it to do. Anyway, I can get out of this again just by going like that. So if I go quit. First, what I need to do is close Nerdtree, and I believe what I do to do that is just, because the F4 function key toggles it on or off, and then semicolon Q quit. And if you want to save whatever your changes are, you press W and then Q, W for write. Anyway, there's a lot years. I've spent years learning how to use all that, and I'm still extremely slow, but it's fun, I like it. And then you got your website, and I got my website going on here, and I like it. It's just what it is. There's some more Vim. This is when I had Alacrity. I was using Alacrity. This right up here is HTOP, which shows you all of the programs that are running on your computer. It shows how much memory you're using and all that, a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like a dashboard of how Linux is running. This down here is Z shell. And I'm not sure what I was doing when I got this saved, in this picture, took this screenshot. This over here is VIFM for visual, Vim file manager. And you can run it. And it's a pretty good one. I like it because it's got the two sides. It's just like Dolphin and Crusader do, and so I really liked it. The problem was it was really hard to get it set to look like the rest, to match this. It had a really obnoxious color scheme, and it was pretty hard to get changed. Once I figured out how to change it, it probably wouldn't be all that hard to do again and again. Because you just got to go in and adjust, set up your dot, config file for that program. And so once you learn how to do it, it took a long time to figure out how to do it, but then once you figure out how to do it, you should be able to just do it easy. Because you save your dot files, and just whenever you start up a new VM, you just copy your dot files into it, and everything's set up. That's how you do that. The other one that I use, the one I'm using now for that, is Ranger, which is a little bit different. It works different than either one of those. Ranger, if I press Ranger, that's what that looks like. And it's just, you don't have that two columns situation, but you can still, you know, you got all your stuff. This one here has other benefits, you know. So it's just what it is. And it's cool. It looks nice, and it was a lot. It didn't have that color scheme problem, and so here's my website. I got I use WordPress. I was trying to learn how to do Drupal, and I was going to do a local development environment and use Drupal. And I finally just gave up. It was so complicated. I finally just gave up and threw up this WordPress website. And I actually kind of like it. It's simple. And one of the things the main thing I really like about it is it's so popular. And so for newcomers that are just getting started, WordPress is the way to go. And it works pretty good. I like this website. I mean, it's not anything fancy. And you could probably make it a lot fancier, but this is what I've got right now. You know, there's my little blog. The way I got mine set up, there's a blog on the home page, is where my blog is. And then I got this little, you know, Inkscape drawing thing. One of these is a Krita drawing. All these are Inkscape. The Krita one should be coming up next. This one is Krita, you know, they're both kind of almost the same thing, but they're a little bit different. This one, Inkscape, focuses on lines and shapes, and Krita, or Krita, or whatever you want to call it, focuses on color. You know, it uses colors. It's a painting tool. You know, and then I got a bunch of stories about business, bunch of stories about Linux, and KDE is my favorite computer science, you know, subjects. Then about websites, you know, how to HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and Bluehost. You know, I use Bluehost. You got to learn about your cPanel and figure out how that works and learn how to do that. That's the way I would, at least to start with. There's some other more advanced setups that you can use later after you get some experience. I would start with it doesn't have to be Bluehost. This is the company I use. The point is most of these companies use the cPanel, and you want to learn how to use that. And you know, it's this website is like Bluehost, OnePress, WordPress, and then. Here's what I was really I've been starting to get into lately. I have about, you know, probably 5,000 pictures stored on my computer now. And so I was thinking, well, why don't I make some art galleries, you know? And so I've been kind of focusing on these. When I first started tried to use Digicam, it kind of overwhelmed my computer, because when you try to, you know, I would load all my pictures into it. And then whenever I tried to open Digicam, it was like starting a program with 5,000 pictures in it. It's like, takes a lot it just slowed everything down. And so it seems to be working a lot better now. I do have a camera. It's a little Canon Rebel SL2 camera. You know, it's just kind of an entry-level digital camera that I'm using, plus my phone camera, because my Note 9 phone has got some pretty good cameras. So, and then and then with Digicam, I use raw therapy. The one workflow is to use Digicam and raw therapy. Raw therapy is the editor, and I do the one main edit that I do. So I have this one workflow that goes along with Digicam and raw therapy. And raw therapy has a tool that I use a lot, and it adjusts pictures so that the buildings are not pointing towards the center of the screen. So, like, for example, say this picture right here. There we go. See how these pictures are angled in towards the center? And you can just click on that thing right there, transform, go down to perspective and vertical, and adjust this like this. You don't want to go to where they're perfectly straight up and down. You just want to make it so it's not so ridiculously bad. It's about like that. It's going to be a good, it makes it look a lot nicer. And, you have to worry about, you don't want the top of the building to look bigger than the bottom of the building. That's what you got to worry about, because you're spreading that top section out. That's one of and this raw therapy makes that particular adjustment really easy. And so that's one of the reasons I like it. And there's other things. I mean, it's a very powerful tool, as you can see. I mean, I don't really know what all this stuff does and is, and but you got all your little different dashboards that you can look at, and each one, and right over here is this question mark right here is your help directory. Open that up. It'll open up I think I have that open already, and here's the getting started raw PDF, raw therapy. It's the help directory, and get in here and read, study. Do the same thing with Digicam. On Digicam, I installed it on I downloaded a PDF of the help directory, so that so I don't even have to get online to see that one. And then and then there's Krita and Inkscape. So let's get back over here. And I've gotten into the habit. You gotta try quit instead of Xing out. Xing out doesn't work good. It locks up KDE Live. I've never had it cause any problems except on KDE Live. And just clicking on the X thing, it locks KDE Live up for some reason. Instead of closing it, it just locks it up. So I try to get out of the habit of doing that and start using the other button. There's another button that you can use for that. So you got Digicam. You got Scribus is a book writing tool you can use. It's a pretty interesting program. The help directory for Scribus will teach you a lot about using color. There's a big deal in, the help directory talks a lot about color, because it's supposed to, Scribus, you're printing. This is for self-publishing, desktop publishing, open source, and I produced a book with this. You do have to make sure that you install GoScript before you install Scribus. You install GoScript and then install Scribus. That way Scribus will find GoScript on your computer and will know where it is. If you forget to do it that way, then you can fix it by introducing Scribus to Ghostscript, and I think the best way to do that is to open file as a Ghost script, and it'll open the file and it'll look in Scribus, and I'm pretty sure after that it'll know where Scribus is, or I mean, Scribus will know where Ghostscript is. And then, so this is, and you set it up, the inches and all different things here, and you get it all set up, and we'll talk about that later. And this one here, I'm pretty sure it goes, oh, I gotta get rid of this, that's why. The other Control Q will quit your programs. And Inkscape is a good program I use all the time. Krita and Inkscape for drawing. We'll do the Krita, I think, since it's the KDE tool. And like I said, it's a painting tool. And all these tools, you read the manual, and learn how to use these tools. Raw Therapy is a photograph, photo editor tool. This is a painting tool. And you just start, this is where you would start, and you can set this up. You can adjust it any way you want. And this is the way I like my other people, they either like them full screen, or they what are they, tiling managers, install all that stuff. I like mine here. And then if there's another program, if I got Inkscape running on this page, and I can really easily switch back and forth just by clicking on the one in the background. Like this, okay, so I can click on this and it's right there. Or if I want to work on this one, I click on it and it comes to the front. So that's what I do. You can do it however you want to. And again, I can just Q. No, that doesn't work. The other way is just, Control Q. It says, I don't know why that didn't work. Q. Yeah, that worked. So that's what you do, and you just keep working on these. Those are your tools. And you got to read the help directories. I'll be saying that a lot because it's really important. In order to learn this, there's two things you got to do. Read the documentation, watch videos on, the web. I use DuckDuckGo. I don't use, I try not to use Google as much as possible. But the one thing I do use Google for is YouTube, because it has the best content. It's just got a big, huge head start on everybody else. There's a whole bunch of good video hosting services, right now, but YouTube just got a big lead on everybody else, and so it's going to take a while for them to catch up. And I use all of them, and I search around on all of them. Each one has different advantages. Digicam is your photo managing tool. It's you use it to keep track of your tools and tell it what, you can put different tags and stuff like that, so you can find and organize your photos. This is what you can organize your photos in. And you got this is what Digicam looks like. Like I said, this color scheme, I've always left, the not dark theme. This is the first time I've ever used a dark theme on my desktop, and I kind of like, it's okay. It feels weird because I'm so used to seeing all this is all light with black text on it, but it's okay. I just kind of wanted to see something different for a while. And I really like this desktop, especially, I like all this translucent, everything. But like I said, I did a lot of work to get it to look like that. So this is, I watched a video and I followed the video and it just kept on going and going and going. So I gave up and about halfway through, I gave up on it, and because it was like an hour, and I had to stop and do things. The video just run it. If I ran it straight through, it would be an hour, and every time you stop, so it was like going on for hours and hours. I finally just gave up, and and between that and all the other things I've been doing with over there on settings, I got a pretty decent looking setup here, and I like it. And but the main thing is to use this. You're building your setup, your development environment, your art studio. This is an art studio, and you're going to be making art, and that's you're creating creativity. Express your creative freedom. Get in here and look at what you'll do is you'll make pictures, office, and little project like holistic home office book. And so I have all the different photos and videos and anything that has to do with the home office book. Holistic home office book is in that folder, and you can rearrange everything like that. And then I got one for the website, and like if you have one for if you do one for like say you start creating programs, like say you want to create a calendar program, that would be in a folder, and you could just put everything that goes in that program in that folder, and then you can, and that's how you do it. So that's 37 minutes. That's over my 30-minute. That's okay. All right. So now I get into KDE Live. It takes about a long time for these things to upload to the web, to my OneDrive. I've been looking at another program called Nextcloud, which would enable me to create my own, like OneDrive. Right now I'm using Microsoft OneDrive, and I like it because it just kind of does everything automatically, and I can access it from all my computers, including my Linux computers. Although the Linux ones, I could set it up to do automatically, but I haven't done that. I just do anything I want on there. I just do it manually. But you can set up your own network, your own cloud, in using a program called Nextcloud. And you could either do it like, say, you could rent some space on, like, say, Linode or even Azure or something like that. And but the best way to do it is to buy your own computer and host and put your stuff on there. The one thing you have to be a little careful about, though, is you want your stuff you want a remote backup. I think I kind of like having a remote backup, so that and also a commercially and secured remote